Alrighty, here is the next part of the project. You will notice I have set up a piece of newspaper underneath my block here. So if you are remote especially, you will need to find something to put underneath your workspace, such as a newspaper or a trash bag will work, just something to protect your area because this next part is going to get kind of messy. You can see that I have finished carving my block here, and I've got all the details carved in, and now I'm ready to print. Oh, I just noticed a spot where I missed on my carving. So anyway, just double check everything so you don't accidentally print something that's missing a part. And there we go. All right. So now I'm ready to print. What you'll need to do first, you have your knife here, and what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna take all these extra blades that I've got and put them back into the end of my stylus here, so that way I don't lose them. You need to keep track of your blades. These things are kind of expensive. So anyway, and if you're done using this one, you could take it out and put it back into the back of it too. All right, I'm gonna set that aside, and now I'm ready to print. In your packet, you have some printmaking ink in a Ziploc baggie. I would recommend that you start out with black. However, it's not, I mean, it doesn't really matter. Black's the heaviest color, and so if you started out with yellow and then you printed black over top of it, it kind of dominates. It would dominate that yellow. So better to start out with a black. So you have your ink, and then you've got you should have some kind of plate. I've got a tray here and a spoon. I'm gonna take just a little bit, about the size of a quarter. So this is, you can kind of see just a little dollop of this ink, and you kind of spread it out on your plate. Set that aside. And then you've got a brayer. And they're kind of squeaky. This is called a brayer, and what you're going to do is you're going to take your ink and you're going to roll it out and spread it evenly throughout your whole tray so you get that brayer covered really well. I should have used a different color so you could see it on the video, but I've got my brayer covered. And then I'm going to take my block and I'm going to roll this over top of my block. You want to get it rolled evenly. Cover everything. If you run out of ink, just get some more, but get it evenly covered. Make sure you get all the parts. You can see there why I use the newspaper. All right, and then you're going to take a piece of your paper. You should have 7 left. And what you're going to do is you're going to take your block and you're going to try to center it the best you can. Press it down. Now once you've pressed it down, try not to move it. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip it over. Oh, it moved. Bummer. Okay, so that's what happens if it moves when you're trying to flip it. I'm going to set that aside. That is why you have 8 pieces of paper. So if you mess up, you can get another one. Okay, I'm going to try that again. Okay, once again, you're going to take a piece of paper. You're going to take your block, press it down. You know what, instead of flipping it, I think the type of paper I've got this year is a little bit, it's better quality paper, but it's a little bit more slick, so that didn't stick to it. So I'm going to press this down really well onto my paper. Traditionally, when you do a block print like this, there's a press and it's got these 2 roller mills, and you would take your paper and you'd crank it through there and it would press that block down really well into your paper. But we don't have that, so we're just going to do this manually by pressing it down. And very carefully lift up your block, and voila, you've got your first print. Before you wash everything, what you need to do is you need to print as many. I'm going to print 3 more. You need to have a total of 4 good prints, and you're actually going to print this, and you're going to go back and you're going to carve out some more on your design. Now this one here, I have a little bit less ink, so it might print a little bit lighter. If you have too much ink, it's going to be all gummy and it has like a really thick texture. So you want to make sure you have just the right amount. Totally Goldilocks here. You know, the Goldilocks and the Three Bears, where she, like, you know, eats the porridge and the one's too hot and it's like, ah, and then the one's too cold and it's not good, and then she finds it just right. Anyway, it's that little story that I'm referencing. If you don't know it, look it up. All right, and there's two. Hey, you can see how that one's lighter. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to print another one. Now keep this, even though it's light, you would want to keep it because we're going to print more colors over top of it. But you can see the difference between those two prints. The nice thing about a printmaking project is that you have multiple attempts. You could literally just keep printing and have several prints that you can use. They work great for gifts, or you can make cards out of them. You can make them all different. You have a lot of options with this, but you can do multiples. Okay, so I just put a little bit more ink on my tray, and I'm gonna spread it out. Sorry about the squeaky brayer there. And just roll your block again. Make sure it's evenly covered. All right, and I'm gonna do another one. And again, I'm gonna do a series. I'm gonna do a total of 4 prints. You wanna have 4 good ones. So if you have one that's like really crooked on your paper, do a 5th one, just so you have 4 good ones. Because what's gonna happen is you're gonna go, after you wash this, and that's gonna be the next video, after you wash your block and everything, you're going to carve some more. And after you carve more, then you're going to print a different color right over top of this print and the other ones that you've done. So you're going to build up in layers, and you'll see in the in future videos what happens as you print. You end up getting some more spaces that weren't previously there. All right, so I've got 3. I'm going to do another one, but I'm going to turn off the camera so you don't have to sit here and watch me do several prints. Before you begin, I want you to watch the next video. So before you do the printing, I want you to watch the next video of how to clean this up too. And so watch the next 2 videos, this one and the next one, and then go ahead and do your printing. The cleaning part of this project is probably the most important, because if you don't do it right, it can mess up what you've just done. And that's going to be extra work for you. And so anyway, the other thing with your ink, make sure you put the lid back on it, because you may want to use this later. I've got some cool printing tricks that we might do at the end if we have enough time. Anyway, so go ahead and watch the next video on how to clean this up. Anyway, have fun with your printing, enjoy, and I'll see you in the next video.